Hey, everybody out there. Guess what day it is? Wednesday night happy hour, and this is If You Drink, brought to you on Vet Radio Syndicate, where you can also find us now on YouTube and VRS Live. VRS Live is the radio station through Foxhole Internet where you can find our podcast, just the audio stripped down version if you just want to listen to us and you couldn't catch the video portion of the show. So, what's going on this week? Traveling as always. Just got back from Columbus, Ohio. Was hanging out with the VRS boss, George Pardos. We have some business dealings up there that are really coming together, going up to Ohio to kind of finalize the deal on a couple things. But I'm really, really excited to say that America Flex. Hey, what's up? What's up? How are you? It's my fellow podcaster, the Stone Vet. If you guys haven't heard of the Stone Vet yet, he is on multiple platforms, including, and we are so honored and blessed to have him on Vet Radio Syndicate family. So catch his show, The Stone Vet USMC, on Thursday nights as well. I'm so glad that he could jump on and join us. Hey, Michael, how's it going? No worries, man. You don't have to drink to join the show. Absolutely not. Just a sip once in a while, small amounts. Yeah, that's kind of all I really do as well. And you know, actually, speaking of my guest, that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring him on, is that exact same reason. Ever since I started this podcast called If You Drink, after the song by Chris Turner, If You Drink, that was about bringing veterans together so that they didn't drink alone. I've always wanted to make it a very big point, and I say this in podcasts, you don't have to drink alcohol to join the show and talk. You can drink coffee, juice, water, whatever it is. Just hop on and hang out with us and chat about whatever you like. So that's the premise of the show. Yes, definitely a blessing to have you on. You're very knowledgeable and award-winning podcast host, and we're so happy to have you in the VRS family. So Columbus, Ohio trip, you know, I was up there meeting up with the dream team. I have got one hell of a dream team up in Columbus, Ohio right now. We've got George Pardos, who was a competitive wrestler in the Marine Corps at Ohio State. He was also the assistant head coach for Ohio State, and he coached UFC fighters. In fact, one of his fighters just got into the Hall of Fame. You may have heard of him, Kevin Federer. Yeah, he just got in. George has an incredible background in professional athletes. We've got a couple Olympians on board with us, another UFC Hall of Famer, Mark Coleman, current UFC fighter, Matt Brown, the immortal. All of us, and the current head coach of Ohio State, Tom Ryan. All of them are up there supporting us. They're giving us areas to work out in and to work out these new classes that we're bringing in. I was traveling the country teaching this yoga program, but the one thing I kept running into, a lot of vets weren't physically able to do it. It was very physically demanding. So with George's professional athlete background and coaching, he brought in the element that we've been able to adapt the program and create an adaptive program for vets of any physical capability will be able to do these programs. And they're going to get a little bit of mix of some professional wrestling stuff going in there too. So it's very exciting. We're pilot testing it out at a ranch, Equine Therapy Ranch here in Ocala, Florida, for 3 months. And then we're going to take it from there, and it's just going to explode, you know, with our partnerships that we have nationally. But that's what's going on with me. I also wanted to get a shout out to Jeff Powell. He sent me this really awesome shirt, and it's kind of easier if I show the decal. Veterans Life Matters. Let me say that again. Veterans Life Matters. I think that this is a great slogan. It's very important. And I support Jeff and his work. He's getting out a lot of cool clothes. He's got it on jerseys, hoodies, even shoes. Like the flip-flop shoes and stuff like that. So thank you, Jeff, for sending me this shirt. I love it. It fits perfect, and I love the message, and that's why we're all here, is to help save veteran lives. And speaking of an awesome veteran, I am blessed to know that does amazing things in the veteran world. He is every single day doing something for a veteran. This guy just never, ever stop. He's very well known in the veteran community. My VFW brother, U.S. Marine Corps, Mr. Andrew Farrer. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, Heather. Hey, guys. How you doing? Sorry.
Everybody say hello to Andrew.
Hi guys, I'm a little dressed up. Just came from a big planning committee meeting where we're trying to get a building for all the VSOs in Rutherford County, and the vote just passed. They've got 2 more votes, and they get a big building owned by to lease out from the government for $1 a year. So it's we still got 2 more things to do, but it's looking really good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good to hear. Like I was just telling him, you're just like, you have your fingers in so many different veteran things. I can see why you were nominated for Veteran of the Year, because you live and breathe it.
I didn't win because the judge at Veterans Treatment Court, my judge, he won, and he definitely deserved it but I was just happy to be there, and maybe next time, I don't know. I just like helping veterans, and Heather, you know this with Reverend Warriors and the VFW, and I'm still. I actually just moved you over, so you're all good to go now. All right.
Because I was like, what? Wait a minute. My paperwork wasn't transferred. I'm very proud to say I'm a part of that VFW.
Well, we started a new post. It's the youngest post. We started in about 3 months. We started with 26 people. Now we have 167 now. It's just crazy. And our average age for this post is 42.26 years old. Like, it's all the OIF. We got 1 Korean War vet. We've got a couple Vietnam vets. OIR, I just put in, actually my quartermaster put in an OIR veteran today. So we're doing a lot of stuff for the community. I think we have over 500 plus hours of community service in Rutherford County, and we're happy that you're a part of it.
Yes, I'm very happy to be a part of it too. And I have not heard of Tally one. You have to tell me about who that is later on. Tally Man. Not sure who that is.
Who's Tally Man? He sounds like he's from Jamaica.
Probably likely, but I'm really glad that we talked yesterday and you mentioned that, because I told you that eventually I'm moving up to Tennessee.
I know.
Primary residence. So I definitely want to make sure my paperwork is correct so I can attend the events and meetings and stuff like that.
Tennessee is going to be very lucky to have you. Tennessee, I don't know if you guys know this. Tennessee is a great state. Murfreesboro, we are 92.86. We are like the #1 boom town, little boom town in the country. Like, those came out 3 or 4 months ago. But everybody, Nashville's great, but it's expensive, and people are expanding out. And Murfreesboro is going to be a hub. I guarantee it. I guarantee it's going to be a hub.
It is a very nice, clean town. I really enjoy it. You were telling me about a couple other little towns that are kind of a little more villagey and quaint and stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm looking for now. Yeah. I'm going to be hopping back and forth between Florida, Tennessee, and Ohio, and I kind of needed a central location, and I just love it up there anyway. So.
You got the mountains, you got lakes, you can dive, you can ride horses. It's awesome. Gatlinburg is great. Pigeon Forge, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis, a little dangerous. I don't know.
Bill Street's cool.
Yeah, you got to wear a vest when you go to Memphis.
Sun Records. That's about it.
Just kidding to my Memphis people. I love you guys. I love Memphis. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, so one says, Mr. Tally passed 5 bills in Congress in regards to VA medical malpractice. Great. I actually had a friend in on that. So that's awesome to hear, because I know that there's lots of it going on, and it's nice that we are able to actually do something about it. But yeah, so Tennessee, for anybody that hasn't been there, is a really incredible place. It reminds me a lot of home. And I kind of had this weird experience this summer. I moved to Florida in the summer, and I should have known better because I've lived here before. I know how hot it is. And I got done with the Reverend Warrior hike in Atlanta, and I was on my way back home to Florida. I was like, I cannot go back. I can't face the rain right now. I can't face the heat. And so I literally did a Yui in Atlanta, and I was like, what's above me? Eastern Tennessee. And I saw this lake system up there, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm just going to go up there. So it ended up being like a whole Army Corps of Engineering lake system that was absolutely beautiful. Campgrounds were amazing. And I stayed there. I went to the waterfalls. I went to the Smoky Mountains, to Gatlinburg and Sevierville and Pigeon Forge, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
It's Sevierville.
Sevierville.
Yeah, that's where Dolly Parton's from, by the way.
Yes, that's where the big amusement park and everything is. And yep. I went to Cades Cove, woke up early, went around the loop, and I was like, holy crap, this looks exactly like where I grew up. This is tripping me out. And I just felt a connection really strongly. I've visited Tennessee many times, but that trip really, it was a connection. And that's when I ended up seeing that yoga center out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. I was just on this road, this random road, and I was like, oh my God. And here's a really weird thing. A couple months after that, I'm cleaning my house and I have YouTube going, and a random video comes up and I hear this voice of this man. And for some reason, I was drawn to the voice. And I sat down and watched the video the whole time. And it was an Indian professor teaching at an English university. And I was just mesmerized by his voice. Mm-hmm. And I was like, who is this guy? And I kind of looked him up. I subscribed to his channel. One of his videos came up a couple of days later, and he's talking. He's like, and our center in Tennessee. I was like, what? Discovered this guy is a huge yoga guru that has 3 centers in the entire world. 2 of them are India. One of them's in Tennessee. And it was the exact same yoga center that I just, on that spontaneous trip, happened to drive by.
That's awesome. Road. I got to go out. I got to go out there and get my yoga on. But actually, I'm big news. There's a new jiu-jitsu studio coming out in Murfreesboro, and I actually just signed up for judo classes. So I start in January. I'm very excited.
I'm not a fan of that because I was kind of forced into it in combat training and run through it really fast. And I was the only female. So it was awkward being paired up with guys that were like 2 or 3 times my size.
Well, the good thing, they have a women's only class. And actually the woman that owns this place, she's 17 years old. She was taught by one of my friends who does BJJ Legion here in town, and gave her like the good to go, like you can open up your own shop. And they have all women classes, but they also have mixed classes too. So it's good for everybody, and kids classes as well.
That's really cool. Yeah.
You might want to, when you get down here, you got to check it out with me.
I will check that out. And I was trying to go over some really easy stuff with George, because he used to be a professional coach, and it was very easy stuff. But I've been doing yoga so long, it's like my body was like doing it yoga like, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing? What kind of technique is that?" And I'm like, I haven't done any of this basic stuff for so long. I'm just so used to doing yoga. I've had to adapt a little bit, but I do need to adapt out into some other things a little bit to increase my body knowledge, I think.
Well, I mean, I did Taekwondo for like 11 years. I got my first degree black belt in Florida. Actually, well, I trained in Florida. I got my first degree black belt in Georgia, in Statesboro, Georgia. And I've always been into the martial arts, but, I let my body get away from me. I'm like 267 pounds, and I need to lose weight, like seriously, because I need to get back to my Ramadi weight of 2006 of 182 pounds and able to ruck anything. And I would love to get back to that weight again.
You and me both. I would love to get back to my deployment weight. I was working out 2-3 times a day. That's when P90X first came out, but only the SEALs had access to it. Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah, the P90X.
I was doing P90X with them. And the cool thing is, when I did a proposal with the class that you took in Nashville, and I had a whole program set up. I had a whole program set up, and then I added in George's conditioning stuff with it. And the guy that was the head of the company goes, so basically you're telling me that you just reinvented P90X. And I was like, exactly. He's like, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, I've been wanting to get back to that and really hit it hard. And actually, this next month, we're going to start the pilot program February 1st. So I am ordering chains and a plate carrier and all kinds of crazy stuff, because I have to get myself into shape to run this program for the next 6 months. So I'm going to be out there by the straightways, by the ocean, just hauling ass down there, trying to condition myself so that I can carry this out to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
You guys just got back from a trip, didn't you?
Williamsburg. We saw the birthplace of America, my wife and I, and it was amazing. We got to see some. Actually, I found out one of my ancestors was on the Virginia Company, like in England, basically paying money for people to go over and found America. So John Farr back in 16 something, he gave money to help an expedition in Jamestown, Yorktown, or Williamsburg. I can't remember which one, but I saw a picture with my last name on it, and he named his daughter Virginia after the colony. It was really cool. It was really kind of cool, like, because as far as we go back, we go back to like 1066, William of Hastings, that battle. And it was just, I don't know, it was really cool seeing the things unfold.
I have a funny generational story that I didn't realize. So when I was 18, I went to college at the University of Wyoming, not because I had a great desire to go to college, but all my friends were going. So I was like, I guess I'm going to go too. At that time, it was like the #1 party school, and I lived up to the reputation. And
Me too.
Partied my way right out of there. What I didn't realize is years later, so my legal name is C-O-E. And it's not a very common name, but my dad's from Mississippi. My whole family's from like Mississippi and Louisiana on that side. I didn't really grow up with them, so I didn't really know the family history. But there are some Coes in Wyoming that are like senators, and there's like Coe Hospital and all this other stuff. So I'm at the University of Wyoming, not knowing, not connecting that the university library is called Coe Library. And there is a statue of my great-grandfather outside of the library, and there's a huge portrait of him when you walk in. I was like, well, it shows you how much I was at the library. Because
I didn't go to the library very much. When I went to school, I went to Rollins, and it was a big party school in Florida. And I maybe went to the library twice during my 5 years. So yeah, I didn't go to the library either.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny, but later on found out that he was like a huge historical figure.
That's really cool, Heather.
It was. I started reading up. And, the weird thing is I don't look like anybody in my family. My nose, nobody has my nose. And I found a picture of him, and I was like, oh my God, he has my nose. I was like, finally somebody that I look like.
That's pretty cool.
He was a cool dude. He had like some prominent like racehorses. He was like, the whole family was like all kinds of politicians, and they did all kinds of stuff for Wyoming, like Western culture and the museums. And I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And I was like, wow, I just had absolutely no idea, but it was cool to find out. So, my background is Mormon, and, they're really big into family history. They go back.
Wait. Hold on. You're a Mormon?
I'm not. My family is.
All right. I don't know. The only reason why I say that is I only know like 5 people on my hand that I can count that I've met that were Mormons. And one of them was in the Marine Corps with me. So I don't know too much about Mormonism, but
definitely would not have this. I was.
Well, I hope you're having a very nice glass of wine tonight. I'm drinking coffee because, as you know, I'm 3.5 years sober, and it took me a long time to figure out that I was actually an alcoholic. And I love that's why I don't stop, because if I do stop, I'm going to start, thinking bad things. And then I'm going to start thinking, oh, maybe one drink will be okay. No.
Yes.
Nope. No drinking for this guy. Not anymore.
Yes, I'm very, very proud of you and proud to know you. And, that's kind of that's why I wanted to bring you on, because you have this great story of recovery and resilience. And, I can identify with keeping yourself so busy that you keep out of your head. And a couple years ago, I did that to the point that I was getting older, and I wasn't able to keep up with my pace, and I just slammed into a wall.
Yeah. And that happens. You've got to, and I'm the worst advocate for this, but you have to take time for yourself. I try to allow one day of not doing anything for anybody, but just for myself. And when I was with IW and doing the Nashville hike back in 2018, I would take one day off, and it helped me out so much. But that hike in 2018, it took 7 months to coordinate that. And I had to take 2 months off after that because I was exhausted. I mean, if you've ever been to a hike, and I'm going to promote IW right now, it's a great organization. We bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. That's the mission. It's simple. We go to hikes, and by the way, I don't know if you've seen the hike list, but there's like 75 hikes. They've added a whole bunch. Like they got one in Lexington, Kentucky. I tried to get that started like 2 years ago, but they Brian McGowan is a coordinator there, and he's a great guy. They've got one in Normandy, France. They've got London, Guam, Puerto Rico. I want to go to the
Normandy one.
Hawaii. Yeah. If I could get the money together, I would definitely go to that one.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to go to too many just because I'm slammed. I'm going to have 2 companies now, but I definitely want to get to some overseas ones. And that Normandy one, I think, would be a very emotionally impactful hike. And I love going on those hikes. They're very, very healing, and you just have such a good time, and you don't have to party to have a good time. That's the cool thing. It's just having other vets to hang out with is like therapy.
And you don't have, and there's, I know it's got a stigma, but the mission behind it is a good one, and it's a solid one. And
it is.
I was actually very fortunate. I haven't done a hike in a while because me being the state chaplain, that's my priority right there, is taking care of our veterans. If they pass away, I like to go to the funerals and be there for the family. We've had a bunch this year, and it's just, I know it's life, but it's still sad when you have to say goodbye to some of these great veterans. And but that's my priority. And when I get some time and I get to take a breath, I will definitely be looking out. I'll probably go to the convention in January. For the IW. I think it's in Dallas, Texas this year. I don't know. I gotta call Cindy and find out.
Yeah, I wanted to say hi to our mutual friend. We got Doc on here.
Doc
Buzz. Buzz Bryan.
Oh, hey,
Buzz. He's got the new book out, Resilient.
What's up, man?
Resilient Warrior. That's coming out in March, and I was blessed and honored that he asked me to contribute to it. It's going to be a great book. They also wrote the Warrior's Book of Virtues, which is a great instruction manual for veterans. That's
a great read, by the way.
It is. It's nice because you don't have to read the whole book, or if you want to go back, you can just open up this section that you need for that day. So it is kind of like an instruction manual.
He's got a lot of stoic virtues, which I really dig on, because I don't know if you guys ever have talked about stoicism, but go to the dailystoic.com. They have got advice and information that they've been using for the past 2,000 years that still relates to today, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, Cato the Elder. All these guys were thinking about problem solving way back then, and it can be attributed to right now. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I touched on, is this stuff isn't new. It's been around for a while. It's just kind of coming back up, and we need to learn how to relearn it and re-embrace it. And we have Michael on here that says, why do we tend to drink? Inflammation, pain, the need to seek pleasure. First, you need to focus on decreasing inflammation and do it through proper nutrition and diet. Find new forms of relief by alternative medicine and therapies. And, there's a myriad of reasons why people drink. Sometimes it's just to forget. Sometimes it is, a physical thing. Nutrition and diet are huge. And that is something that, I've been really kind of researching more, is because so much of our serotonin that causes, depression and that lack of is made in your gut. So nutrition definitely is very, very important, as well as exercise.
And then we've got. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, as a recovering alcoholic, when I was drinking, I drank for 18 years. I did it to forget. I did it. It was a crutch. If I had a horrible problem that I didn't want to confront or face, I'd go right to the bottle. And it took me a long time, and I got that gene from my father. And it took me a long time to understand that I did have a problem. But now, I don't drink anymore. and I'm looking towards getting better in the nutrition area and working out a whole lot more. So I'm all about like nutrition and trying to be healthy. And I know I'm chewing tobacco right now, but I'm sorry, it's my only vice. And if you guys have a
I
problem with
didn't know
that,
you chewed.
I know
How did I not know that?
I've been chewing tobacco since I was 14 years old. I've tried to quit. It's actually easier to quit drinking than nicotine. I swear, I've tried so many
You
times.
must hide it well, because I have never seen you do that.
Well, it's right here.
You know what? It's okay to have a vice. You know, like
No,
I don't find a problem with that.
you know, and I chewed all through the Marine Corps, like the Grizzly Red, the Fine Cut, which was horrible. Don't ever do that. That stuff is nasty. It's like worm dirt. Ah, so gross.
Yeah. Maddie said civvies just don't understand us most of the time, and that's why Irreverent Warriors is so great, is because you're surrounded by other veterans that do understand you. You know, and I've dealt a lot with alcoholism through ex-husbands and family members and stuff like that. It's really hard on the family too, but the one thing that I have learned, that I had this conversation a couple weeks ago about, you cannot tell an addict they're an addict.
Nope,
only they can tell themselves. So you're wasting your breath if you try to.
I'm really proud that you said that, because that is that's a big thing in the Big Blue Book. Like you can't tell someone, oh, he's a drunk, he's an alcoholic. You have to fess up and be honest and accept, and you got to make that realization by yourself. And you know, it can't be from somebody else. It's got to be from inside you. So that's good.
Because
I'm really proud of you.
It will always fall on deaf ears, and I dealt with it for years and years and years and years and years with an ex-spouse, and with a long-term boyfriend, and that's the realization that I finally came to, is that this is their journey, not yours. You're not going to be able to change them. They have to make that change themselves. And you know, a lot of times at the holidays is when a lot of people turn to the bottle, because it can be depressing.
Or other stuff.
Or their events. You know, there was a time, a long-term boyfriend that I lived with, we were getting ready to go to Thanksgiving, and we're all dressed up and all ready. And at the very last minute, he's like, I don't want to go. And I was pissed. It's like, what do you mean you don't want to go? Like, they're expecting us. It's Thanksgiving. We have to go. And at that time, I was in that mindset that everything has to be perfect. Yeah, you know, everything in the house has to be perfect. Decorations have to be perfect. Holidays have to be perfect. I went to Thanksgiving without him because he refused to go, and I came home and he was wasted. And I was even more pissed. And then he finally confessed. He said, I didn't want to go because today is the anniversary that I was out on a mission, because he was special forces. I was out on a mission, and we had a sniper out in the middle of nowhere take out my best friend right in front of me. And then we got into a firefight, and I had my best friend all over me. He said, that's why I didn't want to go today. And I was like, even though that relationship would last, I learned so much in that relationship about dealing with somebody else and validating what they say and validating what they feel and listening, you know, being an active listener and not just trying to overtalk them all the time. Yeah.
And I do have some interesting news for you, Heather.
What's that?
I will be getting, I'm actually going to go back to school.
You are?
I'm getting,
you're like me. You're glutton for punishment.
Well, no, it's a master's in divinity in chaplaincy. So I will actually,
nice.
I'm talking with Liberty University. I don't know when I'm going to start. I'm hoping to start January, but I got to come up with the funds. I got to see if I got anything left on my GI Bill. But hopefully it'll take like 3 years. And then I will actually have the title, like as a real, like I'm a chaplain in the VFW, but I will be a chaplain in real life after I graduate, hopefully.
That's awesome. Alex, way to go. 7 years, no alcohol in June. Semper Fi, just made a point to change.
Hoorah, right. Man. One day at a time, buddy.
Yep. One day at a time. That's all you can do. And I think that's amazing. Like I said, you and I are very similar, alike in a lot of the stuff that we always have our hands and stuff. And I love school too, but I hate it at the same time. But I love knowledge. And I know that you love knowledge too. And I think that's why I keep going back for more. But I told my boyfriend, I was like, if I ever talk about going to get a PhD, just slap me. Okay. Don't let me do it. But yeah, I think that's awesome because you do a lot of great work as a chaplain. I know that you work your butt off. And that you're just constantly doing stuff. And you even get to marry our friends, which is cool.
By the way, guess what? I just did my 25th wedding yesterday, and you know the people that I married.
I do.
I can't give you the name because they're doing it kind of secretly. But you know the people. One's an IW guy, and his girlfriend always follows him to, or his wife now always follows him to a hike. But don't say the name if you know who it is. I will tell you. I'll tell you after this thing. But I'm sworn to secrecy, so I can't say it. But I did my 25th wedding yesterday.
I'm having a couple ideas. Maybe I know who it is. I'm not sure, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
If I ever get remarried, you're marrying me too. So
well, hey, I've got to marry Chrissy Payne next year. The IW Memphis. I think she's the regional coordinator now, but I get to marry her and her fiance.
Nice.
And then I think I've got one more next year. But I just signed up with the carriage lane house here in Rutherford County in Murfreesboro, and I put my name down. If they ever need an ordained minister to do a ceremony, I'm their go-to guy.
Oh, that's awesome. I can imagine that it's like a beautiful thing to keep seeing all that, love and the beginning of the relationship and everything like that. I bet it's like a treat for you.
It's nice to see like people. I get to bring people together, and I've only, out of the 25, only one couple is split up. So my odds are pretty good.
Those stats are pretty good.
Yeah.
Michael says, check out organizations like Hunter 7 Foundation, Burn Pits 360, veteran organizations that help with illnesses and awareness, and Mission 22. So speaking of the Burn Pits, we actually have a couple of mutual friends that are very intricate in getting those bills passed. One of them is my friend Dina McCain. Her husband was the very first person that the government officially said, yes, he died from burn pits. And she helped to push that in Congress, as well as Dan Eric from Grunt Style also is part of getting that bill passed. So yeah, we're totally on board with supporting anything that has to do with the burn pits. And I'm glad that it's moving forward because of people like them.
And that's a new thing in the VA too. The VFW is trying to pass a lot of stuff on burn pit registry and rhinitis and the dust that gets in our nose and stuff like that when we're over there. That's a new bill that the VFW is working on right now. So
yeah, I remember when I was in Afghanistan, one of my my head interrogator, she would come in just hacking up a lung, and I was like, why do you keep running outside right by those burn pits? I'm like, we have plenty of treadmills. She's like, well, I like running outside. And I'm like, do you want to die? Like, stop running by the burn pits and just get on the damn treadmill. But yeah, she was just hacking all the time. Yeah. And I just remember we just burned everything. Absolutely everything. It always went into a burn pit. That and the plastic water bottles sitting out in the sun used to drive me crazy.
All the time. And the wag bags, burning them. I remember doing that in Ramadi, and it sucked. It was horrible. Yeah. He mentioned Mission 22. That is another great organization. I actually am an ambassador for Mission 22 here in Tennessee. So Tim Fry, way to go, buddy. And he's the head of Tennessee for Mission 22 here.
Yeah, there's a lot of great organizations out there, and we need them because even we had this weird thing in camp one time. All of us were getting rashes. Yeah, we couldn't. I even got a lump, and we could not figure out what was going on. We had no doctors out in the middle of the mountains at all. And pretty soon they found out that the water truck that was bringing in the water for our showers, that they had hauled mustard gas in this truck. And so it was in our water supply, and we were showering in it. And so that's why we all had rashes and lumps. And it was, and I started having like neurological stuff happening when I got back. And when I was checking out at Fort Bragg, I would not leave the medical office until they put that in my file, because they weren't going to. Because they couldn't see the rash or the bump when I got back. And I'm like, I'm not moving from the seat until you put this in my file.
Hey, Heather, are you in with the VA? Like disability and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Good to go. No, I had to check. So I have to. I'm concerned about you, and I'm glad you're getting the help from the VA like me. So, and a lot of
Yes.
veterans. I know you guys don't like the VA, but they do a lot, and they're very overwhelmed, but they will eventually make it happen for you guys. I guarantee it. It took me 11 years to get 100%, and it was a lot of fighting, a lot of paperwork, but it's worth it in the end.
And I never even planned on filing for it a couple years after I got home, because I didn't experience PTSD or anything like that until a couple years after I got back. And a Marine told me that I met, he's like, you better get your ass down there and apply for that right now. Because I always thought, like, I got to stay back on the FOB and the team went out. Like, why would I apply for that? I don't need this. And, my therapist was like, well, how much is enough to need it? And a lot of people were like, well, I don't want to take free money. And I'm like, but that money is yours. If it doesn't go to you, it's going to go to somebody else. That money is for your service, and you deserve it. So go apply for it, and I've had to apply a couple times. And I think the only reason that mine went through quickly is because who I worked for. I mean, mine went through really quick both times. And I feel for vets that are telling me that I've been fighting for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. And my grandpa fought for 50 years to get his service. He was a POW in Nazi Germany for 3 years.
And when I didn't know that.
Yeah, when they he was a pilot and he went down in Germany. And when they rescued them, they expected those GIs to go straight back into planes and start flying missions again.
Yeah.
And they basically, all the GIs were like, fuck you. And they took off. They went AWOL. They went down to Paris and hung out for a while. Eventually made it back to the States and to the base, and they dishonorably discharged all of them.
Wow.
POWs for 3 years. And it took him 50 years to overturn that so that he could apply for VA benefits, because he had all kinds of crazy stuff that he had saw doctors all over the world. They could not explain what was wrong with him. So don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah, don't give up. Be tenacious about it. Like, kill them with paperwork, because they love that. Oh, what you saying?
And, we have these VSO centers that help you to do the paperwork, because I know it's a pain in the ass, but just be diligent. Just stay on it, and they'll help push it. Yeah,
is that Maddie? Yeah, good job. Yeah, that's exactly.
Maddie says, everyone needs to get registered with the VA. They are trying to improve for sure. I wasted 20 years of not realizing my issues the VA is helping with. Now, not all VAs are perfect. No, but nothing is perfect. And how we change that is we get involved in making those changes. And
Maddie, I don't even know you, but that's great advice, buddy.
Yeah, just that's what they're there for. And if you don't like the way that they're run, then do something about it. Don't just sit back and complain about it. You got Michael says invisible wounds.
Yep, invisible wounds. I don't know. This is fun. This is you have a good show. I like this.
Yeah, thank you. It's done very well, and I kind of attribute that to what Chris started with If You Drink song, that bringing veterans together to hang out and chat, and every other week vets can come on with me and talk when we don't have guests, and a lot of times they just stay in the comment section, but we have a lot of great conversations. People are able to, I've had people unload some pretty big stuff on this show, and I feel blessed and honored that they feel comfortable to do that.
Well,
so great.
You and we know a lot of people that are doing a lot of good stuff on the podcast, like Danielle and Travis with Oscar Mike Radio, Devoted to a Soldier, even the Scuttlebutt podcast, which I'm a co-host of.
You have a podcast.
Commander Flake, I'm giving you a shout out right now. Yes, Commander Fleek and we co-host the TSP, the Scuttlebutt, because we tried to use the Scuttlebutt podcast, but I guess that name's already been taken, so we had to change it up a little bit. We try to record the stories of our veterans around this area, and we've actually got a good one coming up January 2nd. We get to interview Master Chief Fred Casper, who is our state surgeon, and I'm really looking forward to that interview.
That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the veteran podcast community. My friend Travis Johnson just started the podcast awards this last
Yeah,
year.
no, and Travis Parrington got he won an award. He won one of the Thor's hammers for that. So,
and one of our podcast hosts too, the Stone Vet, he also won an award on that too. He's got a really cool show.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, oh, the bar is on too. Yep. Yeah, we had a lot of cool people in the veteran podcast world. It's not something I ever imagined myself doing. This is my second podcast, but I like this one much better because the other one was Zoom and edited and everything, and this is kind of think on your feet a little bit more. But I really enjoy the conversations that I have with everybody on the podcast. And there's another cool podcast that comes out of our VFW called The Smoke Pit.
Gabriel Brown. Yes, of course.
I really dig listening to that.
Yeah, it's a no holds barred podcast. So I've been on it twice. You can swear, you can do whatever. And yes, I am a chaplain, and yes, I swear. But
he's a Marine.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a Marine and I'm a machine gunner. So what are you going to do? I mean, but yeah, Gabriel, he's got a great podcast. If you guys are looking at that, look up his Patreon. You guys get some really nice gifts. And yeah, Gabriel's a great guy. So good job, Brown.
Yes, we've got a lot of cool people, and we're kind of doing that at Vet Radio Syndicate. We're all veterans, and we're also bringing on shows that bring on resources as well. We're actually going to have a podcast about how to apply for disability. We've got a mortgage podcast, how to apply for VA loans, the Warrior Wallet, how to manage your finances. We've got a coffee show now in the morning, and just a ton of shows at night for whatever you're in the mood for. We even have Ron Ripley on. My buddy Ron Ripley has a great show on Monday nights as well.
Yeah. Adam Bird. Yeah, I forgot about Adam. He's got a huge network for Heroes Media Group. He does a coffee. He does, I think he does a gin and a bourbon. I mean, he's got his hands in a lot of stuff, and he's got a lot of great podcasts as well. So we got Eugene. It says, I would talk to my dad about things. Now I wish I could talk with him. Eugene, the really crazy thing is, if I don't wake up at 5:30 or 6, I feel like I'm rushed all day. Like that's my magic hour to wake up. And today I slept in, but I was so grateful that I slept in because my very last dream was about my grandmother that raised me. And it was just like I woke up and could smell all the smells of the morning in her house, and she was cooking for everybody. And I felt like I was actually able to hang out with her. Yeah. So I totally get that, but they're always here in one form or another. They're still here. I mean, my dad, as you know, my dad committed suicide, second month of boot camp at Parris Island, the only boot camp to go to for the Marines, by the way. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from those Hollywood Marines, but I think about my dad all the time, and he was in the Navy, lieutenant commander at Whidbey Island, and he would be very proud. I think he'd be very proud of me, but he's always with me, and I kind of cry up during the Christmas time because a lot of the songs we sing at my church reminds me of him. And like, you can see me bawling and starting to cry, like at God Rest You Merry Gentlemen and How a Rose There Blooming. Those songs remind me of Dad because he was big into classical music. He took me to operas and concerts in New York and over in Europe, and before I even thought about joining the Marine Corps. But yes, all the people that have passed, they are still with us, and they are watching us every day. Yeah, I didn't know your dad was stationed in Whidbey. I was there twice, stationed there, and I didn't grow up with my dad. I didn't meet him until I was an adult, but he also committed suicide this past spring. And I'm sorry. Thank you, and it's from that, though, I've been able to meet my half sister, who I never met. That's right. I remember you got to meet her. Yeah, I remember you posting about that. And we've been staying in touch, and we've seen each other a couple times since then. She lives in Kentucky. Another reason to live to Tennessee, so I can that's only hang out with her more. That's an hour away. I mean, if you go to like Murray or like Paducah or like right outside of Fort Campbell, boom, that's right there, Kentucky. Yep. So we always meet in Clarksville. I love Clarksville. It's a cute little town. And so
out of that, it was a really bizarre situation how it even happened. There was no funeral because there was an investigation. It was a pretty horrific suicide. It happened in front of a deputy.
Yeah.
And so that's why there was an investigation and everything. But it's been able to bridge that gap between us because I've been trying to have a relationship with her for years, and she's been very standoffish. And ever since then, she is like reaching out to me. So it's been really, really cool.
That's good.
We have John says, in 2016-17, the VA reduced my benefits out of the blue. I got pissed and went to see a VSO about appealing it. He had me write down everything I could think of that was wrong with me, and I ended up with 90 from 40. Yeah. I have VA docs be like, go down a list. Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? You might want to put that on there because they are encouraging you. Anything that you can think of, even if you had an injury before, if it gets exacerbated by your military service, that also counts. And that counts for trauma too. Not just physical.
It just, the VSOs are really, really good. I have a good one, and I'm going to give him a shout out. Malachias Gaskin. He leads the Warriors Garden nonprofit. He's one of the best VSOs in Tennessee, and he helped me out a lot. And it just depends on, your VSO. If he's going to work for you, you're going to be happy after he or she, your VSO, gets it done. So that's good.
The thing with the federal government, after working for the federal government and going through many, many workshops with the VA of how to navigate the USA job systems and applying for disability, there is a formula to the madness. If you know how to fill out that information correctly, then you're going to be in a much better position where it's going to go a lot quicker. Yeah. That's why those VSOs are so important. That's what they do.
Yep.
They know how to fill out that stuff. They know how to word stuff. They know everything that you need. So utilize them. Don't try to do that stuff by yourself because it is maddening if you do.
It is. It really is. I mean, when I first tried to do it, I used the military or the Purple Heart. I got 50%. I had that for 5 years. And then I went through job after job. I had 11 jobs in 1 year. And I finally was like, enough is enough. I went to a VSO and I was like, what is wrong with me? And they're like, well, you've got some serious PTSD going on. I got a short fuse. If you guys know me, I got a little bit of a temper. I'm trying to work on that. And there's an organization that really, really helped me out, cool out. And it's called Save a Warrior. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but they are a 72-hour basically you live on this farm, this 87-acre farm. And Jay Clark, they've been doing it since 2012. They've saved a lot of people. I've had a lot of my guys from 3A go through it. A couple of guys from our VFW have gone through it, and it's changed my life. It takes care of the underlying problems that you might have, be it family, be it abuse, be it whatever, because when we see this stuff when we're 3 or 4 years old, it kind of sticks with us for the rest of our life. And we've got to come to terms with that, and we've got to understand it. And that's what Save a Warrior does. And it really, really helped me out. So,
yeah, I've never been through the program, but I hear Save a Warrior quite a bit. And I've heard quite a few people go through it and have really great results. And I'm really, really happy to hear that. And sometimes, you need to be free to let out that emotion. The military always like push it down, push it down, push it down. Don't show weakness. Don't cry. And even males from a young age are taught that. But that's not how our body works. Our body is in a constant state of trying to maintain homeostasis. And if you're stressed out too much, it's unbalanced. And things that release that are things like crying. Crying releases endorphins. Laughing. All of that stuff is a way for your body to get that out so that you can be balanced. So there's absolutely no shame in talking about something, in crying. Cry that freaking sucker out if you have to. Think about how you feel after you cry. It's because your body's great. Balanced.
I love a good cry. Oh, hey, and by the way, do you know who is actually talking about that middle, that homeostasis, that balance? You know who was talking about that a long time ago?
Who?
Aristotle,
yeah.
Excess versus deficiency. If you have too much, you're like, okay, say you're drinking too much, you're going to be hungover all the time. If you drink too little, it's not, you're not even going to feel anything. But you can apply it to anything, not just drinking, but to your life. And if you're in the middle, you've got a balance of both negative and positive, you're going to be good.
Right. That's how our bodies work. They have to have that to move forward and have like a successful day every day. And sometimes you need to redo it every day, and that's okay. And a lot of people, they get concerned about how long they grieve for things or for people. And I always tell them there's no time clock on your grief. Don't let anybody ever make you feel bad for grieving, and you have to do what you need to do to cope with that yourself, just try to find healthy coping mechanisms to deal with it. So I've got a bunch of comments here. I want to see a good way to reflect and see what pain you are truly dealing with first, and stay sober and report everything of note. And then we've got, you had a stroke in 2008 at 39. Well, that's young. After 10 days in the local hospital, I transferred up to the VA hospital in Lebanon and went to PT twice a day, 7 days a week for 3 months, then outpatient for another 2 months, and regained about 95% of normal function. That's awesome, because the program I'm doing is going into inpatient care. It's going to be for high-risk veterans, and it's going to be in combination with equine therapy, with DBT, with the eye movement therapy. It's music therapy, EMTR. That's what I was. Music therapy, and my yoga therapy, as well as professional athlete conditioning and everything like that. So it's really important that you find what works and that you stick with it. And even when you do recover, sometimes you're going to slip back, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because then you just restart it for as long as you need it. I go back to therapy every couple of years. Like, I don't think I'll ever be fully recovered. And if I feel I need to go back to therapy, I go back.
Yeah.
And I get stuff off my chest and I feel better after 6 months, and then I go on about my business. So.
I got to put this out there. The VA, I don't know if you know this, but the VA does whole health stuff like Tai Chi. I actually just got certified in battlefield acupuncture.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
yes, I met them at Malachi's holistic fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I met the reps and your neighbor.
Yeah. Micah. She's and she's in our VFW post, by the way.
Yes. I met her and she was telling me about it. I knew that was coming from the whole Veteran Act. We're just coming from the point of the approach of how it's taught, and then adding in the professional athlete conditioning, and, so that all vets can do it and stuff like that. But I met her, and I met one of the Tai Chi teachers. They were telling me about it, and I think that's really great too.
Tony. I think it was Tony that you met. Yeah,
Tony.
It's 12 o'clock every Friday. I have yet to go to a Tai Chi class because I'm always doing something, either helping a veteran, and I don't have time to go to Tai Chi. So I have to make time for myself. And it's hard to do. But I've got a loving wife who just got home, and I probably need to get going because I probably need to cook.
We're at the top of the hour, actually, so we actually do need to get going. But it's been great. I could sit here and talk to you all night. So I'm so glad that you could come on and let everybody know who you are and all the great stuff that you do. We're really thankful for everything that Andrew does in our veteran community, because he never, ever stops and just does amazing things.
Heather, I love you. Namaste. And namaste to everybody out there.
All right, brother. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Well, that wraps our show up for tonight. This has been a great show. I'm really glad that Andrew could make it on, especially this holiday week. I hope that everybody has a great Christmas and a holiday season. And remember, don't ever give up. Always reach out if you need to talk, and don't ever be afraid to let someone know how you feel, and take care of yourself. So make sure that you check out our other shows, because we got a lot of cool shows on, and we're also now on YouTube as well as VRS Live, which is where you can go on. It's Foxhole Internet Radio, and you can hear the audio versions of our show now. So if you're in the car, you can turn us on now and hear us while you're driving down the road. So until next week, I hope you guys have a great holiday and a Merry Christmas. And if you drink, come drink one with us here at Vet Radio Syndicate. Good night. Oh, one more thing. Make sure you watch Stoned Vet tomorrow night. He's on tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. right? See you guys later. Bye.